After 5 days of counting since the Queensland election on November the 25th, it is likely that Labor will win 47 of the 93 seats, a bare majority. The ABC is currently calling 47 of 93 seats for Labor, 38 for the LNP, 2 for Catter's Australian Party, KAP, 1 One Nation and 1 Independent. 2 of the 4 uncalled seats are straightforward two-party contests. The LNP is very likely to win Burdekin, and Townsville is still Liberal. Unless Labor loses a seat already called for it, they will have 47 of the 93 seats, a bare majority. The most likely such seat to be lost is Macalister. A major break for Labor occurred in Rockhampton. On primary votes, Labor had 32%, Independent Margaret Strello 24%, One Nation 21% and the LNP 18%. Strello had been expected to win on LNP and One Nation preferences, but LNP preferences flowed strongly to One Nation, putting it ahead of Strello at the point where One was excluded. Labor has won on Strello's preferences by about 3,000 votes, according to the ABC's Emilia Turso. In Macalister, Labor had 37% of the primary vote, the LNP 26.7%, and an independent, Hetty Johnston, 23.2%. Labor trounces the LNP after preferences, but Johnston could move ahead of the LNP on Greens and minor candidates' preferences, especially as the Greens put her above Labor on their how to vote card. However, according to the Courier Mail as quoted by the poll bludger, Labor is very confident this scenario will not happen. The Electoral Commission of Queensland frustratingly removed all its 2 candidate results on Tuesday. The ABC's 2 candidate results are projections, not real votes. The Electoral Commission of Queensland conducted 2 candidate counts on Monday in contested seats where the wrong candidates were selected on election night. In Noosa, Independent Sandy Bolton thrashed the LNP. In Cook, Labor convincingly defeated One Nation, but in Murray One Nation defeated Labor. In Maiwar, Labor defeats the LNP on Greens preferences if it stays ahead of the Greens. In Burdekin, the LNP is slightly ahead of Labor after preferences. The Greens are currently just 12 votes ahead of Labor in Maiwar on primary votes. Scrutineering information reported by Kevin Bonham suggests the Greens will gain on the preferences of a minor candidate. If they win the battle for second against Labor, they will easily defeat Shadow Treasurer Scott Emerson. KAP is likely to gain Hickiebrook from the LNP from third place, on first Labor then One Nation preferences. Assigning the 4 uncalled seats to the likely winners, the final seat outcome is likely to be 47 Labor, 39 LNP, 3 KAP, 1 One Nation, 1 Green and 1 Independent, with Townsville still in significant doubt. Same-sex marriage plebiscite aftermath polling. The same-sex marriage legislation passed the Senate on November the 29th, 43 votes to 12. Additional protections for religious freedom were not included in the final bill. This legislation will go to the lower house next week. While many commentators have focused on Western Sydney's large no vote in the plebiscite, I think the strong support for yes in rural and regional Australia is important. Only 2 rural electorates, Moroa and Kennedy in Queensland, voted no.